Action. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Chemical Man Podcast. I'm your host, Chris, and today I wanted to talk about jobs and different things out there to look for and to be just to look for different things like that. You see a lot of people comment on the forums and stuff saying, hey, so and so's hiring, what's the culture like, what's the pay like, and all that stuff. And that's very good questions to ask. It's always good questions to ask. And then you get some people in there, saying, I wouldn't work for that company. If you work there, you're gonna be working 12 plus hours. It's hard work, or I dodged that bullet if I could. And it got me thinking. And everybody's got a different perspective on work. Everybody out there, some people look at work as just it's work. Some people look at work as like, oh my God, I got to do that. Why am I have to do that? Why am I getting paid for this? And then also it could be reasons people could say stuff like that because they might have got fired, might have got let go, and they just don't they just have a bad attitude towards it too. But there are some really good jobs, and there are some really stressful jobs too. But what really got me thinking was that you look at a chemical plant in whole. Now, in a chemical plant in whole, I'll take my example. In my plant, it's a big plant, yes. There are units inside that plant. So you might have 10 different units in there, and they're all making a different product, but they're all kind of working together. So when you apply for a job at a chemical plant, refinery, anything like that, you never really know what unit you're going to. So if you put the question out there and somebody comes back and says that's not a very good place to work, it's a bad place, well, you don't know what unit they're coming from. They could have come from a real workhorse unit. They could have come, or versus a real easy. I said it best to some of the people I've been talking to. You could take 4 different people out of my plant in 4 different units, and you will get a different answer for every. You will get a different answer every time you ask the same question. You're going to ask somebody from my unit. They're going to tell you it's a workhorse. We do a lot of permits, do a lot of lockouts, we do a lot of work. You might ask someone from, say, the boiler house where they make steam and they don't make a lot of product, but they boil water and make steam and stuff. They're going to tell you it's the greatest job in the world. They're going to say, man, I love this place. I don't know what anybody's complaining about. You might ask somebody from the waste treatment department. They're going to be like, this is great. I take care of stuff coming in. I wash the pH. I take care of the trucks. I don't have to write that many permits. And then you're going to ask somebody else, and you're going to get a different answer on that one too. Heck, just in my unit alone, my unit's big. We got 50 plus operators in mine. You can ask 4 different people in my unit, and you're going to get 4 different answers because there's a couple of small units inside my unit that are really laid back and easy and not that much work versus some of the bigger ones inside my unit. You're going to have a little bit more work, a little bit more lockouts, a little more tagouts. So you're going to get different answers that way too. So I guess really the thing I'm trying to say is if you see a job, a plant, or for hiring for an operator, production operator, whatever, yes, ask the question. Yes, ask the culture. But also don't be scared to apply because you really don't know where you're going to end up in that plant. I see people come to my plant and they'll end up in the easy part. They'll end up in the easy part of the plant. And they'll think it's the greatest thing in the world. Even if you read some of the reviews on Google about the plant, you're going to get different reviews. You're going to have someone say it's a horrible place. I hate it. I'm glad I left. You're going to get someone, it's a great place. Don't have any issues. You don't know what unit they're in. Now I can tell you 20-something years ago before Dow bought us out, when we were at Roman Haas, there was a road in between called Tidal Road, and you had the north part of the plant and the south part of the plant. The south part of the plant is a much easier place to work. It's a little bit more laid back. It's not as busy as the north part of the plant. You had to have 20 to 25 years seniority to get to that south part of the plant, to get over there. They called it the retirement home back in the day. Nowadays, when you hire in, and you don't know what unit you go to whatever unit you need. So you could hire into the south part of the plant, into a really good unit, and you could work there for 20, 35 years. And then you could hear someone hire in the north plant, and then they can complain because, they're doing more work, they have more responsibilities, and so on and the rest. And that's probably the same thing going for any of the other plants out there. You can look at your BPs, your Marathons, your Ineoses, and your Chevrons, your Shells, your Pemex, all these different ones. They're going to have units inside the plant. Some are going to be working hard than others. Some are going to be working less. You get in that waste treatment area, that's going to be an easier job. That's less responsibility as far as like having more maintenance and more jobs and more work orders to write and stuff like that versus, a bigger unit where you're going to have, and also too, you're also going to have a lot more personalities in a bigger unit versus a smaller unit. So you have that too. You have 50 people versus maybe I don't know, 16 to 14, depending on how big the unit is and how many people per shift on there too. On that too, but no, there was a guy that I worked with years ago that went down when it was BP. He got down on the docks, and he got a great job. Man, he loved it. He was helping with the ships and offloading stuff and everything. And he got a great job, you know. And then you got people that work in the bigger units that run more stuff on there. So don't ever be discouraged from applying for a job. Yes, ask the questions. Yes, ask the culture. You know, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to tell you the culture. I'm going to tell you the pay. I'll tell you the 401k. I'll tell you all the benefits on there. Most time you can look that up and you can find that too. But I think everybody should have a right to know what they're getting into, and it's always a good thing. And again, you don't know if somebody's bad mouthing the company, it's because they either had a bad experience, they got fired, or it's just not a good fit, you know. So always apply. You never know where you're going to end up, and go from there. Anyway, everybody be safe out there. Everybody have a good day. If you have any questions or comments, please get a hold of me. I'll have my email listed below if you need help with resumes or anything. I'm always here to help. Always here. I got a bunch of interview questions too. I'm always on that too. Anyway, y'all have a good one. Stay cool. It's getting hot. And until the next time, I'll talk to you then. Bye.